Kingdom for me must be one of the best examples that teaches you the generalship of your life. Its author, Yasuhisa Hara, must have studied Chinese history very well to be able to write such an epic. But it also serves as Kingdom fans to learn about the things in life that school never teaches us. And that is about practical knowledge on how to deal with conflict and the daily battles we face. I for one was an ordinary guy living in the Philippines, just getting by, working in a low-paying job. It was always the day in and day out. But one day, through some friend, they recommended me to read about Kingdom. I was so fascinated about the story, the battles, and mainly the strategies employed by the warring factions, on how, with limited resources, are able to gain the upper hand. This manga made me do research on the subject of strategy. This made me read again some of the chapters to find some simple life lessons we can all learn from Kingdom. Look at things as they are, not as how you would want them to be, and depend on your own arms. There was a scene where the main character Shin asked the great general of the heavens, Okie, to train him. General Okie, seeing Shin as someone who is still not fully developed in managing people, gave Shin the task of subjugating a small village, being attacked by savages. In here, we see that being a general is not about being the strongest warrior, but also being able to handle pressure on a life and death situation. One of the best qualities of being a great general is not to be swayed by emotion. Fear makes you overestimate your enemies. Anger and impatience makes you commit to rash decisions. Overconfidence makes you miss your goal, and love and affection blinds you. General Okie sees the truth about his position. He does not see his generalship as a form of prestige, but a responsibility. With eyes that see the utmost about realism, he knows that being a general is the person responsible for the survival of the kingdom. By giving Shin a realistic perspective on what generals actually do, he instills Shin the foundations necessary. He even took Shin's sword. Okie wants to see if Shin can actually survive with only his hand and not be dependent on anything. Because most people rely on the simple and easy, technology, money, and so on. But this is just being materialistic. Everything can be taken away from you. Being a true general is psychological, a matter of intelligence. General Okie is arming Shin's mind with superior strategies. By way of example, it's also a test for Shin if he really is worthy of being a true general. Judge people by their action and elevate yourself above the battlefield. In life, I have always find myself encountering people who you think are good-natured but are devious with hidden motive. They sought out to manipulate you and make you stupid when the deed is done. It has always frustrated me. Why do I fall for these? As if I lack social intelligence. So I wondered, if people are always hiding their true intentions, how do you analyze them without them knowing? Kingdom teaches us to judge people on what they do, their behavior, the way they speak, and the results of their actions, especially the results. A great example is with the Zhao Prime Minister Liboku. To defeat the great General Okie, he studied General Okie's entire military career. By thoroughly investigating Okie's service history, Liboku noticed that Okie did not have combat experience concerning the Zhao northern armies. Okie had no intel report on the northern horses of the Zhao, making him misjudge the speed of the hidden Zhao army. And Liboku also placed an information lockdown, making it difficult for General Okie to sense a trap. Liboku, being a man of judging people by their deeds, made sound decisions. He did not underestimate General Okie, and he knew the positive effects of bringing down General Okie. Liboku knew that General Okie was the symbol of Qin's military might. Having lost that symbol brings down Qin's prestige, and making Zhao's military prestige go up. This also made a deterrent presence to other states not to mess with the state of Zhao. Spiritualize your warfare. Every day we face battles for survival. But the greatest obstacle in our life is our untrained self. We blame other people for our mistakes instead of analyzing the bad moves we've made. Most of us are tacticians. We pay too much attention in the conflicts we face. That the only thing we can think of is how to get our immediate need. Strategy is focusing on long-term objectives. Like the king of Qin, Ace, his overall goal was the unification of China. Even if setbacks do arise, he remains calm and collected. During his brother's rebellion, instead of losing to despair, he retreated in the vacation house of the first kings of Qin. There he meditated on how to deal with his brother's rebellion without breaking the kingdom. Instead of panicking, he gave himself time, went to the mountains with Shin and the crew to make an alliance with Yotanwa, and finally marching to Kanyo to capture his brother. In here, we can also see how he showed the art of war. Instead of killing the soldiers of his enemies, he gave them the chance to surrender. Ace stayed within his goals. He did not overreach to the point of killing his enemies, because by doing so, he would have made more enemies within his kingdom. The goal of all martial arts is to make your enemies surrender without a single loss in life as much as possible. This manga is one of the best because it shows us why it's important to face challenges rather than going to the things we think will make us happy. It's one of the best blueprints on how to be a strategic warrior. Let's face it, life is a struggle. We will encounter people who have ill intentions for us. Living in a third world country, this is a common thing. Instead of thinking the negative circumstances that happened to me, this manga showed me that anyone can break out of bad habits and aim for something better. Like Shin is a servant boy dreaming of becoming a great general of the heavens. He did not let his poor circumstance affect his future. And due to his right attitude, he steadily climbed his way to general. He proved to himself that by having something to strive for gives us direction in life. He cannot stay the same forever. As a strategic warrior, he developed himself by knowing how to control and channel his emotions, decide which fights to avoid, and think ahead towards long-term goals, and especially aim for results. Challenges enables us to grow. It makes us manage difficult situations. In this uncaring world, we have to think first and foremost of ourselves and our interests.